Okay. All right. So I forgot to hit record earlier. I'm just going to say this real quick, just for those people that have to watch this online. We're moving everything to one side when we're solving quadratics by factoring. Then we'll factor. Then we set each factor equal to 0 and solve. Okay. So what's going to happen is we have some problems here that are already a few steps down. You don't have to do the first couple ones, just so we get the idea of solving them, and then we'll do some that you have to do all 3 steps. Okay. So if I look at problem 1, p minus 7 times p minus 3 is equal to 0. It's already moved to one side and it's already factored. So steps 1 and 2 are already done for us. And we just have to do step 3, which is set each factor equal to 0 and solve both of the equations. So the factors are the things that are separated in the parentheses. So for us to do this problem, we'll say p minus 7 equals 0 and p minus 3 equals 0. So that's what it means by set each factor equal to 0. And then we're going to solve the equations, and most of the time with these problems, we'll get 2 answers. So if you wanted to solve p minus 7 and you want to get to p by itself, what do you need to do with a 7?
Plus 7.
Yep, so we're going to add 7 to both sides. And p equals 7, that's one of our answers. And the same way with the minus 3, to get rid of a minus 3, you're going to add 3 to both sides. And p equals 3. So our 2 answers for this problem are 7 and 3. As if you plugged in either 7 or 3, you would get a 0 for the factors, and we need a 0 in one of them. So when you multiply, you get the 0 on that side. Okay. I want you guys to try number 2 and see if you can get the correct answers. You have k minus 4 and k plus 1. So when you think you got it, go ahead and show me your answer when you've worked out both of those equations. All right, so hold up your paper when you think you got it. Jayla, close on the second one. Look at that one. Layla, look at your first one again. Mackenzie, that's good. Diamond, your first one looks good. There's not a 7 in that problem. Are you on a different problem? We're just on number 2. Jaden, that looks good. Look, Taylor, look at the second answer that you wrote down. Shalia, come a little bit closer. Yeah, that's good, Shalia. That's right. Layla, good, you fixed it. Yeah, Jayla, you fixed it, good. Zasia, your first one's good. Look at your second answer. Yes, Anna, good job. All right, so let's see. You can double check your work if you didn't show it to me. So we have k minus 4 equals 0 and k plus 1 equals 0. Thumbs up if you got that step written down correctly. You got that one? Okay. And then to get rid of a minus 4, we're going to add 4 to both sides. And 0 plus 4 is 4, and the k just drops down. So k equals 4 is our first answer. I think almost all of you got that correct. Then our second one, to get rid of a plus 1, what sign are you going to use to get rid of a plus 1? A minus sign, thank you. Minus 1. And 0 minus 1 is negative 1. So 0 minus 1 is -1. So that's where a lot of y'all put that k was 0. But when you take 1 from 0, you get -1 for your answer. So our two answers are 4 and -1. All right, so those are ones that are already factored for you. They're already set up on the right side. Same thing on 3 and 4, but sometimes you have two steps in your equations, and I wanted you to be aware of how to do that. So let's look at number 3. Is it already on one side of the equation? Yep. Is it already factored? Yep, we have our two sets of parentheses. So we're just going to set both of those equal to 0 and solve them. And we'll have a fraction in our answer, and that's okay. So we have 4v plus 3 is 0. And 6v minus 7 is 0. And we treat both of these separately. So the first thing we do on our first problem to get rid of the 3 is minus 3. So 4v equals -3. Everybody okay with that first step? Move the 3 over. And then how are we going to get rid of our 4? We have 4 times. What's the opposite of times?
Divide.
Divide. We're going to divide both sides by 4 on both sides. So the 4s will cancel out, and v is -3/4. Sorry, I canceled out the v. That should say v is -3/4. So same way on our second equation. What are we going to move first, the 6 or the 7?
The 7.
7. So we're going to say plus 7. So 6v is equal to 7. And then what are we going to do next to get the v all by itself? What operation? Y'all can show me with your hands.
Divide.
We're going to divide it by 6. So v equals 7/6. So we have two answers, -3/4 and also 7/6. All right, go ahead and try number 4 on your own. So that says 5n plus 7 and 2n minus 7. So write them both equal to 0 and solve them. All right, let me see, Layla. Yes, Layla, that's great. Thank you. Mackenzie, good job. Anna, yes. Yes, Jayla, thank you. Yes, Asia, perfect. Come a little closer, Shalia. Down. Yes, Shalia, good. Diamond, way to go. Donovan, what you got? Show me your answers. Set them equal to 0. Follow what we did in number 3. And get the variable by itself. All right, so let's make sure everybody's good on the first part, that we are setting them both equal to 0. I think we all got that correct. Everybody agree? We set them equal to 0? Okay. And then we're going to move just the regular number and then divide by what's in front of the variable. That step happens all the time. So minus 7. So 5n is negative 7. Then we're going to divide by which number? 5. So n is negative 7/5 on our first equation. Our second equation, we'll add 7 to both sides. Then divide by 2. And n is 7/2. So we have negative 7/5 and 7/2. Those are our two solutions to that problem. Okay, so that's how we do the quadratics if it's already factored for us. Now we're going to move on to some that we have to factor ourselves. Then we'll move on to some that you've got to also move everything to one side. So I'm just kind of slowly easing you guys into this. And we'll have to recall how we factor as well. That will be important for us to do. So on our first problem here that we have to actually factor, we have m squared minus 9m plus 8. M squared minus 9m plus 8. And we are looking for two numbers that multiply to which of those numbers, the 9 or the 8? We're looking for the ones that multiply. Is that the 9 or the 8? That is the 8, right? It's always.
Look like you froze.